Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy King Bean, and welcome back to another episode, another video, and a brand new show. And welcome to another episode of Jaguars Talk. And today I will be talking about the Jaguars and my thoughts and my impressions on their Week 1 performance. As we all know, if you watched the game today, they took the L. They really held that L up. In case people who don't know, if you take the L, that means you took the loss, and you holding that L real high. And they took the loss today to the Carolina Panthers, 20-9. Brand new year, same old Jags, I guess. Watching this game, I was really, before the game even started, I was really excited for the game, really excited to see what the Jags are going to do and how well they would perform in Week 1. Because in the preseason, they looked pretty decent. They looked really good. I mean, they didn't win every game, of course, in the preseason, but that was just preseason. The first team did look very good. But this Week 1 started off just like they did in Week 1 of the preseason. And one of the big things that was a problem that I saw for the Jags early on, again, dropping key passes. When receivers are dropping key passes and key plays, and of course you get the turnovers. And Luke Jokel is a joke, and I will get to that later. But again, with the Jags did the same thing what they did in Week 1 of the preseason. And like I said, they dropping key passes. These guys got to hold on to the football. Allen Hurns, he's got to hold on to the football. Robinson got to hold on to the football. And these guys, when they're dropping passes, when the Jags are dropping passes, they're not good enough to overcome that. And again, then leaving points on the field, from missing extra points to missing field goals. The Jags are not good enough yet to do that, to overcome those kind of losses, to overcome that kind of ineptitude on offense. This team has to be able to move the football and capitalize on it. Because even TJ Yeldon, he had 11 carries, I think, for 53 yards. And being a rookie in his first game, he played pretty decent. Denard Robinson played pretty decent. You can see the decency there. You can see some of the passes where Blake was throwing were pinpoint, but the receivers are dropping passes. You can't drop passes, baby. You just can't do it, because Carolina, they have a really good defense. Now, the offense is anemic, to say the least. They are anemic, to say the least. But they did protect Cam Newton very well. But again, it's hard to rush down on Cam Newton because he is a mobile quarterback and he can throw the football. But their offense is naturally anemic. Their defense is always pretty decent. So despite all of that, the offense, particularly, it's weird to say, they did play pretty well. They didn't play terrible, but they just couldn't get key plays. The defense, Jacksonville defense, actually looked pretty good. They played well enough to win this game, and kudos to Paul Posluszny. Oh my God, Paul played a fantastic game. He was one of the standouts. I think he had 9 tackles. He also had an interception. He had an interception today. And he was everywhere. The linebacking core was everywhere, to be honest with you. He had 9 tackles. I think. Dan Scooter was making plays. He was making plays around the field, making tackles. He was all over the place. And Telvin Smith, he had 9 tackles, 7 solo. Paul Posluszny, like I said, he had 9 tackles, 8 solo. And you're looking at Dan Scooter, he had 7 tackles, 6 solo, and a sack. So that's not bad. That's not bad for the linebacking core. The secondary is pretty decent. They held their own. But, when they got to the second half of the game, they couldn't get off the field. They was on the field too long, especially that last drive that really sealed the game, when they did get a punt and they got Carolina down to the 10-yard line, and they kept picking up key third downs. Carolina was moving the football. Jacksonville would make some plays on defense to stop Carolina, but they would, still were able to convert those third downs and get first downs, and they pretty much ate up the clock, and it was pretty much done. But early on in the second half, when Blake threw that interception, that really hurt. That really hurt. That really put them behind the 8 ball, and they were down 17-9. Being down 17-9, and with an offense that's especially just showing that they can't seem to make the key plays at the time, that was pretty much a dagger right there, to be honest with you. The game was over with. Hated to even say that. The game was over with right then. And that's not good. Now you think about this, being Jacksonville, being a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, being here in Jacksonville, we're looking for something new and something exciting. Everybody, the stadium looked relatively full. The city was hyped. The city was ready. We ready to rumble. We looking at everybody seeing the same thing. We seeing the potential, but now everybody's going to go back again. Like, wow, this is the same old Jags. We got the same old song and dance. This is why it's so key, that I believe is so key for the offense to gel. They have to gel. Because like I said, Carolina, to me, has a very anemic offense. If you were going up against the likes of Indianapolis or going up against the likes of the Denver Broncos or any other team, really, who can put points on the board, we're going to have some problems. And again, we will have some serious problems because Indianapolis is in our division. And it's key for us to win the division. And you look at the division today, even Marcus Mariota, although they played against a very terrible Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they look really good. They're actually in first place in the AFC South. You think about that. They're in first place in the AFC South. The Texans are not a bad team. They're going to be pretty decent too. They lost today. Indianapolis lost today. This was a golden opportunity for the Jags to actually take advantage. At least came to be tied with Tennessee at 1-0 in the season to begin the season. And this was a winnable game. This was not a game where they were favored to lose by a lot. And these type of games, these are the type of games you have to win, especially when you have an opportunity to start off the season 1-0. Now, next week we play against Miami at home. Now, Miami's a very good team. You looking at they kind of struggled today against Washington. They did end up winning the game 17-10, but they have a pretty good defense. You got that mean, very mean man at defensive tackle named Ndamukong Suh. He's coming to Duval County to wreak havoc on Blake Bortles. That's really gonna be a test. And also Cameron Wake is a fantastic defensive end for Miami, and that's what's coming here. That's what's coming next. And that's why I think it's so important that the Jags, whatever problems that they're having, they need to get it fixed early, because these next few games are not winnable games, and they're not going to be favored in any of these games. You're looking at Miami next week, then you go to New England, and then you got Indianapolis. The first game they're going to actually probably be favored in is against Tampa Bay, and that's all the way. That's week 5, October the 11th. You think about that. That's 4 more weeks out. That's a whole month out before the Jags will actually be favored in the game, and they may only be favored by 3 points. You think about that. Then you go to Houston. Then we got Houston home, and then we got Buffalo home. And Buffalo looked pretty good, although it's week 1. They did look pretty good. You know, those are some tough matchups coming up in this first half of the season. So whatever it is, whatever they got to do in Jacksonville, whatever Gus Bradley, whatever kind of magic mojo he's got to do, he's going to have to coach his butt off. He's really going to have to get on to these receivers to make key plays. And my God, somebody please find Luke Joeckel and remind him that he is the number 1 draft pick. He was one of the number 1. I don't think he was the number 1 overall. He wasn't the number 1 overall draft pick, but he is the number 1 draft pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Remind him that he does play left tackle. Remind him that he needs to block better. Please, somebody remind him of that. I know he got injured today, but it was sad though. It's sad. I hated to even say this. I was happy that he got injured and that he was out the game. And that's not a good thing to say about anybody, and that sounds real mean and real terrible. But my God, he is a joke. He's a joke, man. I don't know. He's a bust. He's really a bust. So anyway, I want to get into some of these stats real quick while I got my little laptop up or what have you, and go over some things, like some positive things for the Jags. Now, Blake Bortles, thing I don't like to see from Blake Bortles, to be honest with you, I'm tired of seeing him run. I am. He's running a little bit too much for me. He's too important to the Jaguars. I like the fact that he's mobile. I want him to be mobile, but look downfield, make the throws. But I guess at some point you get tired of trying to make throws when guys are dropping passes, so you try to be Superman to do it all. But I'd rather see him just throw the football away, or get down early enough in the slide, because he's too important to this team for him to go out and get hurt or get lit up by a linebacker or a safety. You know, he's running too much for me. I really don't want to see that, because Bortles today, his stats today, he was 22 of 40. He had 183 yards and a touchdown. He did have 2 picks. That late pick at the end of the game was really nothing. But the first pick was a really bad pick. That was a terrible pick. They fooled him on the coverage. He thought he had a cover 3 and with a single high. And he tried to squeeze it in there. I think he knew it was picked when he threw it. And it was a pick six, and it was easy to walk in for the touchdown. So he has to improve on that. Now, conversely, Cam Newton he was 18 of 31 for 175 yards, 1 touchdown, and he had 1 interception. Not a bad day, not a great day, but not a bad day. But that's typical for Cam Newton. The Jacksonville Jaguars actually bottled up the run. Their best runner really was Cam Newton. He was more effective because of the fact that he was a mobile quarterback. He had 14 carries for 35 yards, but it was key 35 yards, 3 to 5 yards here and there to keep the drive alive. Jonathan Stewart, he had 18 carries for 56 yards. Not too great on the day, but again, it was just enough to get by. But they bottled up the run. They covered receivers pretty well. Forget the guy who used to play for the Jets. He's their number one guy since Benjamin is out. They kind of Jericho Cotchery, that's the name. He had 4 catches, 45 yards, and he did have a touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr. had 2 receptions, 54 yards. Again, they're not mind-boggling stats, but again, the defense played well enough to win this game. They even held Greg Olsen, the tight end. They're probably the best option on as far as the wide receivers go. As far as the Carolina receiver core goes, he only had 1 reception for 11 yards. That's really good. That's fantastic. Again, Alan Hearn, he was our leading receiver as far as yards go. He had 5 catches for 60 yards. Rashard Green, rookie for Florida State, he had 7 catches for 28 yards and a touchdown. And Allen Robinson, he had 1 reception for 27 yards. That's pitiful. Allen Robinson, he's going to have to play better. He's going to really have to play better at wide receiver because he's the number 1 guy. Him and Hearn, number 1 and number 2. I can't even call them both number 1s. Right now, they both 2 and 3. Let's put it that way. And you choose which one you want to call 2 or 3. At this point, I don't care because I'm tired of seeing them drop footballs. This is the NFL. This is professional football. I ain't never played professional football. I don't get paid to go out there and do it, but they do. And these guys got to make catches. They got to hold on to the football. You're going to get hit. Guys, you're going to get hit. I hope somebody get this to them and understand this. You're going to get hit. Make the catches. I know you're doing the best you can, but guess what? You can do better. That's what you get paid for. Make the catch. Make the catch before you run. Make the catch. You're going to get hit anyway, so make the catch. You got to help Blake out, man. You really got to help Blake out. Like I said, the offensive line actually played pretty decent. They kept the pressure off of Blake pretty much throughout the game. They was the worst offensive line last year. Blake got sacked more than anybody else did last year in the whole league. This year, not so bad. This year we only had 1 game, so it wasn't so bad. So, anyway, we're getting ready to come out to the close of the video, and I just want to get my thoughts again. This is only week 1. We can't panic. It's a long season. Although I am a tad bit upset about the way they played, it's still a long season. Now Miami coming here next week. It's not. Let me put it this way. It's still a winnable game. It's a winnable football game. As bad as the Jags seem, it's still a winnable football game. This is the kind of game that the Jags can do. They can win. This is not something that it's not. But it's important that they do win this game because the week after that, when you combine that, you go to New England, and then you got Indianapolis and Tampa Bay, and all those games are on the road. So this is a winnable game. You can still come out 1-1 in the first 4 games. If I want to see the Jags, honestly, I want to see them at 2-2, and I know that's going to be a lot to ask. One of those games between Indianapolis and New England, they're going to have to win that game, but they can't get to that 2-2 spot unless they beat Miami. They're going to have to beat Miami. Miami's here in Jacksonville. We get excited for this game. Jag fans, don't give up on the season yet. We just started. Same old Jags. I think there's still going to be a difference. They still, in my mind, still got a shot to get to 10-6, but it's going to take a lot. And that's still wishful thinking. But it's only week 1. Can't panic. Can't get too down on them. We go, use the 24-hour rule. We get mad at it for 24 hours. Then after that, let it go. Start looking forward and get prepared for the next game. I'm talking to you guys like I'm y'all coach. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate that. Still going to be a Jags fan. They ain't giving up on the Jags yet. At least not yet. If it gets to week 4 and they 0-4, then I'm done, and I'll start watching soccer or something. God, please don't make me have to start watching soccer. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video, man. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. And matter of fact, leave your comments down in the section down there below on this YouTube channel. Let me know what you think about it. Tell me what your opinions are and what you think the game's going to be like next week. But I'll holler at you dudes later. One love. Peace.